they are both here alongside Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith.
What's up? How y'all doing?
It is great to see you.
You look nice today. What's up, big boy?
Welcome back.
I'm back in the house. I told you I'd be back.
Now, wait a second. I heard that tonight, once again, you are hosting, is that right? Hosting the 6 o'clock Sports Center?
I'm doing it by myself.
By yourself at 6 o'clock tonight.
I'm very nervous.
E1, right?
I'm very
Sports
nervous.
Center.
I anticipate that it will be much harder to do that than beating up on you in the morning.
Oh, but now you have disqualified the reason you're actually with me on Friday because you came for 6 o'clock Sports Center.
No.
You didn't come for me. You came for it.
He came for me.
Here's the deal, Skip Bayless.
Yeah, I got you.
Don't force me to admit on national television how much I love you. There have been plenty of times I have come here just for you.
That is true.
Yes.
Next question.
You're going to be fantastic tonight.
I hope so. I hope so.
I don't
Please.
know about that.
Oh, Skip, whatever.
I'll be watching.
Let's see if either of you are going to be fantastic
That's
in
the
this show.
hilarious part. One of the things I've been thinking about is the fact that I know he's going to be watching.
I'm going to be watching too. Got to
He's
see
not
the
gonna
yard.
miss it.
I'm excited.
I might
It's
be
going to be
live.
great.
I might be live tweeting.
Yes, he might. Don't put it
Can't
past
wait.
Molly, don't put it past him. I'm
Someone's
trying
going
to tell
be trolling you.
Don't put it
No,
past
it's going to
him.
be great. You're going to get us set for all those great NBA games we have tonight. But today, we are previewing all the major NFL matchups, and we'll also talk about D. Rose looking like his old MVP self last night. How about that? To kick things off, we just heard the Eagles' Benny Logan on 94 WIP calling the Cowboys crybabies. This ahead, of course, of the Eagles-Cowboys matchup in Dallas. Potential playoff implications on the line. Stephen A., do you agree with that description, crybabies?
Crybaby.
You know,
I can't wait for this.
here's my thing.
They're fans.
I'm not sure I could classify the Dallas Cowboys as crybabies. They're fans?
Yes.
An entirely different matter altogether.
Wait, you're clapping for that?
I mean, there's
clapping for
nobody worse
Wow.
than Cowboy Nation. There's nobody worse than Cowboys Nation. Cowboy Nation is the worst. You whine about everything. You don't live in reality. Listen. It is relevant. It is relevant. No. When you look, I will say this, Skip. I will say this. You think about Dallas, they really shouldn't be complaining about anything because they've dug their own proverbial grave, you know, as far as I'm concerned. When you think about the fact that they let go of DeMarco Murray, when you heard Jerry Jones whine about how if it were not for the salary cap, we would have kept him here, but then you found a way
that's
to get...
whining, that's just telling the truth.
Well, you could say that, but Greg Hardy's on that squad. You found some money to give him
this year. You have a cap. You got to squeeze people under it.
You found some money to make sure you give him because you got to remember... Well, you got to remember, really?
Yes.
You think Greg Hardy's more valuable than DeMarco Murray? Let me tell you something right now. If DeMarco Murray was in a Cowboys uniform, running for this team behind that offensive line with that system that they had tailored towards him last year, you would not have felt the effect of Tony Romo's absence to the significance that you did. Matt Castle would have looked better. Brandon Whedon would have looked better. Okay, you might not have you might not have needed to rush Des Bryant back prematurely and endanger his health while you're saving Tony Romo. You wouldn't have been able to do any of that. But because you lost, because you could have come up with the extra 12 to 14 million for DeMarco Murray, okay, this is the situation that you find yourself in. You're relying on a Rolando McClain who's back after he sat up there and violated the substance abuse policy. You got Greg Hardy. Don't get me started with his history. You got Randy Gregory who had issues with the weed, even though that's not a monetary thing because you just drafted him and now he's doing some things for you. You lost Callahan, who was coaching your offensive line. You lost a lot of things. So I'm looking at it from the perspective, Skip Bayless, that I wouldn't call them crybabies per se, as in a literal sense. Yep. But I would acknowledge that they certainly foster the mentality of the legit crybabies existing within Cowboy Nation. They sit up there and use their fan base like Skip Bayless to sit there and bloviate on their behalf. And you know what they engage? Because you know me, I love to watch my politics. You know what the Dallas Cowboys engage in, Skip Bayless? It's called plausible deniability. They sit up there and leave it to guys like yourself so they can turn around and say, oh, us? No, we're not complaining about anything. That's him. When in fact, it's them.
Them?
So good to have you back, Stephen
You
A.
are calling the Dallas Cowboys crybaby.
I'm calling Cowboy Nation crybaby.
Oh, I think you...
Cowboy Nation crybaby. And I think the Cowboys themselves Are they whining a little bit? Yeah, they probably, they're probably whining a little bit because, they're feeling the injury bug and they've been victimized.
It's been
and all
a long
that
time.
Stuff. Woe is me. I do sense that, Skip Bayless. I must admit, I do sense that.
I'm happy that you have a bodyguard on this topic today.
I might just move over there.
You need it. This is 2-on-1. It's back to the good old days of the show, and I love it because I love this topic. I especially love this part of this topic, your uninformed, dare I say, idiotic opinion about DeMarco Murray, but my tongue is tied on this one because somebody is remembering we are going to do a full-blown topic on that later in this show.
Good.
So I'm not going to waste our time on that topic, how much they miss DeMarco Murray, because they don't miss him at all. Trust me. Trust me.
Really?
Yeah,
Sure.
we will do that later in this show.
Now, that's idiotic.
No, it's not.
That they don't miss him.
Back to my friend Benny Logan of the Philadelphia Eagles and your friend. Now, I cannot express to you how much better, even better, I feel about my Cowboys' chances this Sunday at home against those arch-rival Eagles because of the idiocy of one Benny Logan. I appreciate you, Benny. Thank you very much for filling up our bulletin board with motivation. So let me get this straight. On a football level, this is as disrespectful a shot as you can take because you are questioning the manhood, Benny Logan, of the best offensive line in all of pro football. That's what you're doing because I'm going to read that quote again. I'm going to hit you hard every snap, says Benny Logan. So just shut up and get hit and take it like a man, questioning the manhood of my offensive line. And I'm going to point this out again as I did yesterday. Pro Football Focus did an extremely great job of grading out all the blockers in the National Football League, and the whole left side of my offensive line graded 1, 2, and 1 at their positions. The best left tackle in Ty Smith, the best left guard in Lyle Collins, and the best center in Travis Frederick. That's how great the left side of that line.
Absolutely.
They've all graded out #1 at their position. And this guy is questioning their manhood. Thank you. I love it. And thank you to Eric Rowe, a rookie, no less, who chimed in off Benny Logan and took a shot at the great Jason Witten, calling him a crybaby. We are talking about Jason Witten, the toughest, clutchest tight end in the NFL right now. Right now, just on toughness and clutchness, I'll take Jason Witten as a long-time proven tight end. I'll take him over Rob Gronkowski to make the catch at the moment. Again, Rob's coming along. He'll be better than Jason Witten. But Jason Witten's going to be in the Hall of Fame. And you're calling, as a rookie, you're calling him a crybaby? That he's looking for flags on everybody? Are you kidding me? Thank you. Whatever your name is, Eric Rowe. Really? Thank you.
By the way, that's glass.
I realize that. I've broken it before, and I might break it before this topic's over because I am loving this.
Be careful,
Okay.
Financial.
So
you could afford to cover it.
I want to remind you that, as Des Bryant will remind his team, the Eagles over-celebrated last Thanksgiving when they kicked our tails. They had us for turkey dinner. Remember that game? And you were bloviating the next day on First Take about how it's over for my Dallas Cowboys. And then what happened? They went to Philly and kicked your tails a couple of weeks later, thanks to Des Bryant on the field pointing at every Eagle saying, we're going to get you back. Well, they're going to get you back this weekend at home, where I'm going to remind my Cowboys, they've lost 4 of the last 5 to Philadelphia at Jerry World. 4 of the last 5. Remember that. Put that on the bulletin board. Remind yourself
Go ahead.
of that.
Feel the need to motivate
and also,
I know.
I want to remind everyone, especially Eagles Nation, that as subpar as Matt Castle has been so far, that Sam Bradford is dead last in QBR in the National Football League. He is dead last in QBR. And I also want to remind everybody, especially Eagles Nation, that the Eagles are dead last in time of possession. You know why? The fast break offense goes 3 and out, 3 and out. And all of a sudden, the other team's got the ball, and it's got the ball again, and it's got the ball again. My team can run the football behind the best offensive line.
Totally agree.
So here comes Darren McFadden. Here comes time of possession. Here comes ball control. Here comes keeping the score close. I'll give you, the Eagles are a little better overall team right now, but my team will keep it close. And you know what? It is time for me to get one break. I just need one bounce, one friendly bounce. I've got none for 5 games. This time, I get one big friendly bounce on one key play. And my guy, Matt Castle, makes one more play than Sam Bradford. And the season starts now because the NFC East hasn't really started yet, but it's going to start now for my Dallas Cowboys. They will win at home. I appreciate the motivation from Benny Logan and young Eric Rowe. And I'm going to go Cowboys somehow, some way. I'm going to go 24-23. Thank you.
Skip Bayless, you make a compelling argument. I can't deny that because when you consider the fact that novices, rookies, would open their mouth and allow bulletin board material to be provided to arguably undisputably the strongest element of the Dallas Cowboys, which is their offensive line, is just flat out idiotic. You're right about that. I totally give that to you. I would remind you, however, the Eagles played one less game because they had a bye week and they lead the league in turnovers, you know, with takeaways with 19.
They do.
With 19.
Yeah.
And the Dallas Cowboys obviously don't mind giving the ball away from time to time. So the combination of those things work against the Dallas Cowboys. However, if they're running the football and not really throwing it, that's where the Eagles could be in some trouble. And I'm concerned about that because their offensive line is no joke. Obviously, Dunbar's injured. Joseph Randle has been released, so now all you've got is Darren McFadden. You know I continuously question his durability more so than anything else. He's had a couple of games, but I wonder in a smash-mouth football game, which I think this could potentially end up being, I don't know how reliable McFadden is. Now, granted, he's running behind that offensive line, so if there's ever a shield of protection to be provided to a running back, they've got it in Dallas, no question, particularly with the left side, just like you highlighted. You know, but in the end, I think the takeaways, I think the combination of the takeaways along with the Eagles defense and the way they can play some football, the way they've been playing football over the last several weeks, the fact that Tony Romo is still not the quarterback, that it's going to be Matt Castle, and if something happens to him, it's going to be Brandon Weeden. In the end, I believe wholeheartedly that the Eagles should be able to win this game. I think Dallas will be able to run the football effectively, but they've been running the football effectively. They're averaging about 127 yards a game, but it doesn't stop them. It hasn't stopped them from losing 5 straight. So in the end, my point is you could still end up running the football effectively and wind up losing anyway, which I think will happen to the Dallas Cowboys in this particular situation. I'm going to pick the Eagles to win this game 30-22.
30-22.
That's right.
30 against my Greg Hardy-led. That's a lot of points for Sam Bradford.
Yeah, but you know what? Sam Bradford might get hurt, and Mark Sanchez might come in there. And if Mark Sanchez comes in there, he's still better than Brandon Weeden or Matt Castle. And I expect the defense for the Philadelphia Eagles to score at least 7 points. So I'm looking at the offense to basically score anywhere from 22 to 23 points. I think the Eagles defense will score a touchdown in this game.
Okay, and Molly wholeheartedly agrees.
I'll be looking for that. No, I'm going to be looking for that friendly bounce. I can't wait. Hey, Betty. Thanks for that.